It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of rAVe TV, the industry's only live weekly TV show all about Pro AV. Today, Gary K is not here. He's on a flight, I think, and Emily Dean is joining instead. Emily, how are you?
Good. How are you, Steph? Ready for the holidays?
Yes, me too. Are you doing anything fun?
Going to see family, hanging out, making sure I see everyone on the list and able to spend some time, and then taking some time off as well.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're going to be busy. I forgot. I remembered you were telling me, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to drive here and then I have to go here and then I'm going to fly here. So yes, we get some time off during the week. Very luckily our company gives us the time between Christmas and New Year's just off.
Yeah.
But you are still going to be very busy. So
yeah, but that's okay. Sometimes it'll distract me and not allow me to work when I should be taking the time off. So.
That's so true. Everyone has asked if I'm actually going to take the time off, and I'm like, yeah, probably.
I feel Yeah.
So yeah, my family, they're just really bad at planning. So they've all been like, we don't know if we're going to do Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And I'm like, okay, well,
I kind of need to know.
It's coming up. So do y'all want to decide? I don't know how I ended up being such a planner when I come from a family of people who were allergic to plans, but
well, that's how you became that, because you had to be the person planning.
Yes. And I did not do that this year. I was like, y'all just figure it out. And then they just didn't. So
well, I hope that your holidays go well and relax. That you get to spend some time with family.
Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, let's talk about a few of the pieces of news that have come out from the past week. So first of all, DSF has elected some at-large directors to the DSF board. It concluded the nomination and election process on November 29th. And these are the people who have been elected. Kristen Ruby from ELO Touch, Tony Green from Snap Install, Jeffrey Weitzman from Navori Labs, and Kirsten Gibson from Reach Media. And so Ruby, Green, and Weitzman, this is their second time. This is their second 2-year term, and those start on January 1st, and they conclude at the very end of 2025. So very excited to see, what this will be like. DSF is really excited about it and says that these people are going to bring a lot of diverse perspectives and shared commitment to the digital signage industry to the DSF board.
Yeah, I think they will. It's nice to see some people who were reelected that can kind of just bring in their experience from the past year being on the board, but then also getting some new faces in there. And all of these individuals are very well versed in the digital signage market, have been working with the DSF in different capacities. So it's good to see them taking kind of the next step and confirming their leadership role in the digital signage community.
Exactly. So I'll be interested and excited to see everything that they do together. I think the DSF is really important because it's going to continue digital signage's importance within Pro AV. And I'm excited to see all of their involvement in next year's DSE and what that will look like too.
Yeah, I think that's something that is important, just making sure that there's still this organization that's kind of overseeing the industry and making sure that we're moving towards where this industry started and its commitment and just advancing. And I mean, obviously there's still the hardware that drives all of this, but then bringing in some of the content items like Jeffrey Weitzman from Navori Labs with content management and everything like that. So yeah, it's good for the industry, good for the organization.
Exactly. So speaking of DSC, just a reminder that we have so many DSC and LDI videos on both of those microsites. They are each at ravepubs.com/ either DSC or LDI. That will take you right to the microsite. And I talked about this a little bit earlier on Replay DSC. But if you go to the microsite and you just hover over the videos tab, they're organized by product type. So it makes it very easy for you to look at a certain type of product if you're looking for something new. You can organize it by everything that was there, everything that, everyone who basically let us do a product video, they're all organized that way. We also have tons of product news. We have the daily RAF pieces that I wrote that were just kind of like, cut and dry. Here's what I noticed on this day. And don't forget that after today's episode of rAVe TV, you can catch the second portion of Replay, which is Replay LDI. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be about an hour long. And this is where I will be announcing the best of LDI winners for 2023. I announced the DSC ones earlier. Those two pieces are going to go live at about 3 p.m. And so you will be able to see all of the winners there as well.
Yeah, Replay, it's a great event that we put on to give individuals who may have not been able to go to the show, or for anyone who wants a second look, kind of at our curated coverage for specifically focused around DSE, which was earlier today, which I'm sure you can catch the recording once it's posted. And then LDI will be later today. And I think both of those are going to be on the launch platform, but then also here on LinkedIn too. So it's a great way to get Steph's perspective. I tuned in because I didn't get to go to the show. This was one of the shows that I missed this year. So Steph, you did a great job, and I'm excited to see more from LDI, because even though I was there last year and LDI was co-located with DSE, I only got to spend maybe like 30 minutes on the show because we were doing so much with DSE last year. But LDI is a great show, and I'm excited to see the coverage from it, the products and solutions that were introduced, and learn a little bit more about that industry.
Right. So this is, like I was talking about kind of earlier on Replay, like this was our first time getting to cover LDI in such breadth. So I'm very excited to kind of get to show everyone the products that we picked as the best. I will say, like the Replay events are most useful for people to be like, I can't watch all 400 of y'all's videos, which is fair. Like we would never be like, okay, here they are, like watch all of them. That's why we organize them by product type, so everyone can kind of look for what they want. But even then, if that is super overwhelming to you, these Replay events are made to be like, okay, well, here are the products and the interviews and the things from the show floor that really stuck out to us. So this is just kind of a helpful start to get someone into being like, okay, let me like dive into this coverage now. So
yeah, it's a great overview.
Yeah. So we are very lucky on rAVe TV to have 3 sponsors / partners who have done so much to help make this show possible. One of those is lgrand AV. And they wanted us to talk about their ADA resource landing page. This is a single source where you can find all of lgrand's ADA content, which is really awesome because they are really big on being accessible and inclusive for people of all different needs. And it's so much more than you would think. It's, designing your AV systems to be able to be, used and used easily by a number of different people with different needs. So they have a whole guide. You can download that there. They have a section where you can click on the products that are recommended by lgrand for ADA compliant spaces. And they also have solution diagrams where you can, look at a few examples so that you can get started building some inclusive spaces. So it's actually a really good resource. They even have an ADA podcast series that's linked in there. So everything that you could potentially need if, what is included in your job is going to be building some inclusive spaces and what it is to make something ADA compliant. So they're very cool to have built that as a resource for everyone.
Yeah, it's really useful.
Exactly. And even whether you use Legrand's products or not, this is made to be a resource for all those in AV who might need it. So continuing on with the news, we are starting to get a ton of the ISE 2024. Here's what we're showing at our booth. Stand in Europe. Press
I think it's
releases.
interchangeable these days.
That's true. That's true.
I think last year I remember like there was signage using both terms at the show. So I think that it's kind of crossed into be interchangeable.
That's true. Thank God, because I used to always say the wrong thing. So
yeah, now you don't have to worry about it in your interviews.
Exactly. So this is from AVStum, and this is basically just a lineup of everything that they're going to be showing at ISE. A lot of different companies send us these types of press releases, just like this is what we're showing. This is what we're showing. So they're going to be showing, of course, the AnyShape technology, which is what makes it possible to order a custom built projection screen that's virtually any size that you could potentially need to project upon.
Yeah.
So this is like circles, rounded edges, semicircles. You know, if you ever have like a weird, random, creative projection need, they can probably cut you a projection screen that can go with it.
That's really useful, especially as we're seeing designers and consultants and even integrators working to create more engaging and experiential installs, even if it is using technology like projection. Being able to rely on a very well-established company like AVStum that's been around for years and years, understanding that this new technology to create these projection screens really will help just elevate our industry and elevate the experiences that we're creating.
Right. And what we talked about yesterday on our 2023 Pro AV Wrapped panel was how immersion is really really important trend for AV for the past year. Yeah. And the way to continue immersing people into it is to make the AV and the technology as beautiful and as seamless as possible. So doing that in a funky shape so that you won't have to project like a semicircle onto a rectangle screen, it's going to take you out of the experience. So you want everything to be very flush, very pretty, especially if you have designed your projection to be in a funky or different shape. You're not going to, after you spend all that time designing it, like you're not going to want that to be taken away by like it not being able to be projected on the right thing. So I think that this is just kind of showing where we're going in the AV industry. But anyway, AVStum is also going to introduce some new 21:9 products. If y'all thought 21:9 was going away as an aspect ratio, I'm here to remind you that no, it's not. So they have the Monoblocks mobile projection screen system, which is a little bit different and interesting. And yes, it's all 21:9 based, because I think that is where a lot of conference rooms are going. We want to be able to see everyone. I think in the meeting equity move, we're still interested in like those products that help us all be seen on the screen in the same like real estate. Just so that those joining from afar feel a little bit like they're more immersed in the meeting. And also there is a black projection screen surface material that's called Black Peak, and that's also going to be at ISE, and it's basically supposed to show a phenomenal like level of black and contrast ratio. So even in settings where you can't get it to be completely black in the room, like if you've got a lot of ambient light, this is supposed to still show that same amount of contrast ratio. So I will be interested to see what that actually looks like in person.
Yeah, me too.
And just as a reminder, if we're talking a lot about ISE, you can still go. You can still register with our code. So if you go to iseeurope.org and go to register, you can use our code, all one word, rAVe Europe. and you can get onto the show floor for free. So all you have to worry about is your flight, and you better book that soon because they are only going to go up in price. But right now, I don't know why, but it is oddly cheap to fly to Spain. So hurry up and do it.
At least from the East Coast in the US.
Yes. I don't know what was going on or if we somehow scammed the system, but like, I'm not going to ask any questions. Like, for all of our flights to be like under $1,000 each, we were like, great. Yeah. So go ahead and book it. It's not going to get any cheaper.
Right. And that registration code will save you about 175 euros. And
exactly.
For free.
Mm-hmm. And once again, they're giving away transportation passes too, so that you can save even more money to travel to the show for free. And you get to use the metro in Barcelona, which is actually very nice and easy to use. We have used it as a company.
I really enjoy the public transportation in Barcelona and taking advantage of the metro. It's really nice.
I wish we had that here.
I know.
Like maybe one day. But another one of our sponsors and partners that we are so grateful for is Aver. And Aver Information Inc. USA actually just added 2 new PTZ cameras. This is the PTZ 231 and the PTZ 211. These cameras are aimed at like collaboration, live event type like events and things. One has they both are 1080p, but one has a 30 times zoom and one has a 12 times zoom. So the 12 times I would say is more for the collaboration, and the 30 times is more for like house of worship, live event, anything that you would potentially need to like easily stream onto another platform. These both have some built-in AI functionality. So they've got smart shoot and smart frame to kind of give you that simplified user experience, that very, very like refined look when you stream something live, because it adjusts the frame of view to capture multiple people or fit everyone on screen, and it'll edit it. If someone walks off, then it'll tighten it a little bit. So these are actually really cool. So if you need something that's just like easy for someone giving a presentation and you don't really have the money to have a whole like production team like editing those shots for you, these are actually a really, really good option.
Yeah.
For sure. Continuing on, let's talk about the ZWave Alliance. They have a new board of directors, and they, in their press release, they sent us kind of detailed a lot of what they would have going on in 2024. So they have announced the new board of directors, and that is Avi, I think is how you pronounce.
Avi Rosenthal,
Yes, is chairman of the board. Vice chairman is Gustav Lanius from alarm.com. Treasurer is Kevin Kraus from Fortune Brands Innovation. Secretary Bill Scheffler from Trident IoT. Chair Emeritus. They're killing me with these words today. I know I'm about to mispronounce something.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Jonathan Adams from Amazon. And then the rest are directors, and they are Jake Alamat from Silicon Labs, Lisa Corte from Asa Abloy, Jeff Cummings from Johnson Controls Inc., Scott Lang from Vivint, John Osborne from Lexi Devices, and Andrew Ware from ADT. So
those are some big names, especially in the connected home and IoT fields. Avi Rosenthal, we've obviously had him on some events. He's extremely knowledgeable. He was at the CEDIA Expo show, had a large role in that. So I think that, and his quote is to say for the past year, ZWave and the Alliance has been transformative would be an understatement. So I'm excited to see how they're going to continue their activities from 2023 into 2024. And they also have, they announced 2 upcoming events. One is April 30th through the 2nd, and that is their ZWave Alliance in the ZWave Alliance Summit in Austin, Texas. And then October 21 through 23 in 2024 is the ZWave Alliance Summit in Seoul, Korea. So two events to look forward to, and then also just go to that story, scan that QR code to read a little bit more about the plans.
Exactly. So our final sponsor and partner here at rAVe TV is Shure. They have been with us from the beginning and have always been supportive of this show. So take a look. This is a little bit of a small room demo showcasing the STEM ecosystem. Shure bought STEM. God, what was it, like early 2020?
I was going to say it was before the pandemic, but I could be wrong. I can't remember.
It was like right after I started full time. So it was like sometime between October 2019 and March 2020.
There you go.
So this is a small room demo showcasing like, here's what an all-in-one video bar audio sounds like. And here's what it sounds like when you use STEM. So check this out. It's actually pretty cool.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Justin.
What you are hearing right now is not STEM.
It's actually an off-the-shelf video bar that's expected to cover a small conference room, just like this one.
Now let's hear the STEM difference. Now this is what your room should sound like.
Notice the difference in pickup and audio quality, thanks to the all-new STEM sound.
The room that we're in right now is a 16 by 14 foot room outfitted with a STEM wall, which can be mixed and matched with other STEM devices, so you can customize your audio and outfit your room exactly the way that you want it.
And with a simple 3-step setup process, you can get your room up and running in no time.
Want to learn more about STEM solutions? Then feel free to check us out at shure.com/STEM.
Thanks for watching.
So as it turns out, Emily and I both lied to you. It was actually November 2020 that Shure bought STEM.
Yeah.
But to be fair, all of the years in which COVID was at large, do not feel like time was normal to me.
No,
so,
not at all.
So whatever happened between March 2020 and like November 2022 are none of my business. I am actually still 25 years old. So anyway, another like a piece of news actually came out about Shure this week. They joined They joined the QSys Technology Partner Program, which I thought was really interesting. So Shure and QSC announced hardware and software solutions that integrate with QSys's cloud manageable audio, video, and control platform. So this is supposed to aim for improved compatibility, integrated control capabilities, and just kind of making it easier for integrators to get things to work together. This is what Gary was talking about when he said that we would see a lot more collaboration between, you know, audio and like UCC video companies. And, you know, like a lot of different companies buying out each other this year too. I think that we'll only continue seeing this more, because I don't think as many companies are wanting to be great at everything anymore. At the I want to say at the forefront of COVID, when we were having to be like, oh my God, Zoom is life. I think every company kind of tried to rush to be like, okay, well, we're your one-stop shop for collaboration. And I just don't think it's easy to be good at audio and video and everything else. So I just think we're going to continue to see collaboration and companies like looking to each other's strengths in order to make the best products.
Yeah, and make it easy, not easy, but make it more easy and allow the integration firms more flexibility when designing and creating these systems, all with the end user in mind, and making sure that these really used to be really, really complicated systems with routing and signal processing and everything just kind of becomes more simpler, easy to use, and more effective, and create a better user experience, because ultimately that's what the goal is in making our industry and designing those systems.
Yeah, so I do think it's interesting that it's two audio companies kind of working together.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, was it last year or year before last that QSE really introduced QSYS as a brand. So I see it more along the lines of the QSYS brand and the control aspects of that company more than the QSC traditional audio side. But it is interesting. It's similar to that collaboration that we heard about earlier this year with Barco and Crestron.
Yeah. Which I think that was like the weirdest one that I've ever seen. Like, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think you're right, Steph, in understanding that we're just going to see more collaborations, more synergy between, oh, look at that buzzword, more synergy between
killing it.
Companies in the industry and just creating ultimately better and more effective solutions.
Yeah, I mean, I do think at this point we've kind of hit a wall in terms of like innovation in conference rooms and like, you know, work from anywhere collaboration. So I think that in order to continue innovating, like companies are going to kind of have to work together and focus on each other's strengths.
Absolutely.
Because like, I just think they keep like, you know, otherwise it's just going to keep complicating things, and technology is going to get to the point where it's like not really helping us join meetings. It's kind of actually hindering things because we're trying to continue innovating and make things even more technologically sound, but we're actually making them more complicated. So I think that companies kind of working together is going to fix that a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think that that was the best way I could have talked.
I got what you were saying. I'm sure. Yeah. So.
My words are not doing right. I'm already on winter break.
Yeah.
Okay. So this next piece is a column from Scott Tyner. I thought it was really interesting. He always has like a good perspective on what's going on in AV from more of the technical end user perspective, because for all intents and purposes, he is kind of like an in-house integrator for Bates College. So he just has kind of almost like a foot in both worlds of end user and integrator. So he was writing about this email list that he's on, which I guess is just like a in-house integrator email list. So he got on there somehow.
Yeah.
And they were arguing or chatting about like whether dedicated computers in classrooms and schools and higher education, whether that's still necessary. So there are like a lot of arguments like for and against this, but most of the arguments seem to be like, let's remove the dedicated computers. So I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, I see that. And from his perspective of being in the education and higher education market, and even think back to when I was in school. Yeah, every single classroom, we didn't have collaboration spaces back then, but every single classroom had a dedicated computer, and that the teachers would have to use or figure out how to work. And I mean, I think this is more of an issue or a challenge these days is Mac versus PC, because back then I started in school using a PC and then I switched halfway and became Mac. So I think that it's still, if you're going to have that dedicated computer, you really have to understand how it's going to be used and which platform is going to be the easiest for the teachers to use, because it can be really distracting for the students if the teacher is struggling with the technology and the AV in a room. So, I mean, even if we're going to have a dedicated computer, let's have both, if that's even a possibility. But yeah, I mean, I think that Scott's piece dives much more into it, much more than Steph and I could talk about on here, but definitely worth a read.
Yeah, because I think that he is one to always see both sides. And the main argument was like, oh, there's such a significant cost savings if we get rid of dedicated computers. But like, is it really that significant of a savings? So just check it out, read it, feel free to develop your own opinion. But I thought that either way, it was just like a really interesting question to be brought up, because I haven't thought about it in a really long time, as I have not been in a classroom in a very long time. So last thing I wanted to do was remind you guys to please, pretty please, fill out our December 2023 monthly temperature check survey. This is kind of wrapping up the entire year. So this is about the market segments that you thought saw the most growth within Pro AV. This is about the one you maybe saw the least growth, the emerging technology that created the most opportunity this year. Did your profit margins grow? These are things that are really important for us to know because we're trying to base the things that we cover off of your answers to this survey. So we want to know what's important to you so that we can continue making sure our coverage is in line with that. And we're giving away 2 $50 Amazon gift cards again. So, every time, if you answer, you're automatically in the running to win one of those. So, worst case scenario, you fill this out for 5 minutes and it helps us out. Best case scenario, you help us out and you get $50. So
yeah, it's been really fun to see the temperature check evolve over the year and understanding what our readers and the industry are finding useful, where their pain points are, where they see growth and opportunities. So I'm excited to see the results from this and understand kind of where we as the industry think that the industry is. So that, yeah, that'll be exciting. And also big thank you to Peerless AV for the making the temperature check possible for this year.
Yes, exactly. So that is our show. I hope you all have happy holidays. I know Hanukkah is now over. Christmas was it Monday or Tuesday?
I think it's Monday.
Yeah, okay, Monday. And all your other winter holidays, I hope that you enjoy them and that you get to spend some time with friends and family. We will be doing the same. So if we don't answer your emails right away next week, that is why we're spending time with our families as well. So do not contact us. Or you can. We'll just answer you after the new year.
But we'll get
do not contact us. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been another episode of rAVe TV. I believe we are doing one new episode next week between, Christmas and New Year. So, you can contact us on that day only. So thank you, everyone. We will see you next time. Once again, I'm Steph Beckett. This is Emily Dean.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.